To be healthy, you have 4 processes that the human body has to go through. And you want to look at these. And these 4 phases are easy to understand. The first phase that the body has to go through is a food processing phase. And this food processing phase is taken up predominantly by the pancreas. Now you've got your hydrochloric acid and pepsin in the stomach for proteins, breaking them down to the polypeptides, and then the poly and the peptides are then dealt with into the amino acids through alkaline chains of trypsin and so forth in the small bowel. The initial hit on and here's another problem, the initial hit on a protein, of course, is an acid hit. And that neutralizes any mouth alkaline enzymes and things like this. And this is why we highly recommend you get away from protein consumption or eat it by itself, because you'll neutralize your base chemistry, digestive enzymes. Acids neutralize bases, and bases neutralize acids. That's chemistry. Acids do not neutralize acids. And medical people have to get with this, because now they're walking so much in the criminal side of life by giving people acids and recommending acid diets when people are extremely, chronically acidic. And this just takes them down to Hellville. Just horrible, horrible, horrible. So digestion is the first phase. You have to have a good pancreas. If you're seeing undigested food matter in the stools, now Homo sapiens are not herbivores, so we have a hard time with your lettuces and kales. But if you see undigested pieces of lettuce and tomatoes and stuff, check the pancreas, but still start super chewing a little better. But look at the pancreas. The gallbladder is another organ that hydrolyzes the lipids from the lymphatic capillaries in the small bowel. So you've got to make sure these tissues are up and running. They get their feed from the colon, genetically, embryonically, and symbiotically. So when the colon is chronic, these areas tend to go chronic as well. So you always want to fix digestion. Digestion is the process that, like the Kentucky Derby, a racehorse, right? A horse race. So the Kentucky Derby, I'm up from near there. And my sister was a horse freak, of course, and we had horses, obviously. So when the gates open, the horses take off, and your fall's right there. That's when you lose digestion. Your horse stops right there in the beginning. You're down. That's it. You lost the race. So faulty digestion must be fixed. What would be the second most important phase that your body must go through? Absolutely, absorption. This is the huge misunderstanding that is in this world, allopathically and even in the lay people. And you've got to understand this one. This one is a big deal. Understanding the lymphatic system is key to understanding the health of the human body. If you don't understand the lymphatic system, like we're putting it out there, you're just like lost. You don't know why there's symptoms. You don't understand anything about anything in the human body. You're blaming the blood for everything. And that puts you way back from where our group is. Our group is the most, understands health the most of any group on the planet, in my opinion. You guys are doing incredible work with people. But understand these phases you're going through. So you have to fix digestion. Now, absorption. You have to absorb the nutrients you just digested. What could block absorption? Number 1, how about mucoid plaque? Mucoid plaque is like amyloid plaque. They're both about the same thing. These are proteins, and particularly dairy proteins. Remember, gluten, it's a protein, but it's a glue. So we're eating a meat sandwich. The white bread on the sandwich is glue, and then the meat, of course, is protein. So this glue tends to, ever make paper mache in art class? Paper mache is almost as hard as this crystal. You can throw it at a drywall and it'll knock a hole in it. That's paper mache, and that's basically what we do, is paper mache our bowel walls, and it blackens the wall. Medical doctors are quick to jump and say, hey, that's from the use of herbs. Well, interesting. I have so many people that never had herbs that have black bowels. But now, that builds up on the wall. What about interstitially? Interstitially is around the cells that make up the bowel wall itself. Small and large bowels. How about the stomach wall? These are cells, and that interstitial obviously is how we get blood and how we get nutrition to the cell, but how we also remove its metabolitic waste. So we have to be able to get absorption of nutrients. The most blocking of absorption of nutrients is the lymphatic system, the stagnation of the lymphatic system. And you see it in your eyes so much. A lot of your eye reports, I'm going all over this with you guys. And you can see that rope right around your bowel wall, which is heavy lymph stagnation. You're not going to absorb X amount of nutrition through that. So unless you have appropriate digestion and absorption, you're done right there, or at least a big part of your nutritional and energetic needs are not being met, right? And of course, this continues to set up acidosis further in the body, right? Now, what's the third stage? This stage gets the medical doctors, gets the naturopaths. They don't get this. You have naturopaths clinging on deficiencies and things like this. Once you digest this nutrition, once you absorb this nutrition, how do you utilize it? How does the body utilize anything? It's called the endocrine glands. The glands control the organs. The glands control literally everything. How? Hormones, steroids, neurotransmitters, all the goodies they produce, right? So utilization. What glands are most responsible for the utilization of chemistry in the human body? You are right on, guys. The adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands produces 24, 25, if not more, mineralocorticosteroids. So zinc, selenium, iron, all need to be metabolized or utilized in the presence of adrenal steroids. And this includes blood sugars, carbon. Your adrenals are those steroids are huge in the utilization of chemistry in the human body, except one. Which one? Calcium. And that is a parathyroid and maybe even a little calcitonin from the thyroid hormones. Essential. You don't have these hormones, you don't have these steroids, you're not going to utilize. So if you don't digest well, you don't absorb well, and you don't utilize well, how can you say you're deficient in anything? I gotta take more of something. How can you take more if you're not digesting, absorbing, or utilizing it? You can't. You can force the body, but that's not cool, because then you start setting up side effects, even taking natural supplements. Not the way to Wellville. Not the way to Wellville. Okay, so let's say that you digest well, you absorb well, you utilize well. What's the final stage that's essential to wellness and health? Elimination. Proper elimination. Well, it's easy to understand the elimination of digestive waste. However, white flours and stuff leave some of the undigested matter stuck on the bowel wall. That's a problem. We get pocketed areas from this, and now our little diverticulitis, the diverticulums, these little bowel pockets get full of fecal matter, and they begin to rot. I mean, it's a mess. So there's big problems in the GI tract, but that is digestive waste. What about, and I do say that the colon, I do believe there is some interstitial waste that going out the colon. I do believe that. Because when you see the detoxification, you get tons of mucus out of your stools. It's not all, I don't think, just on the wall. I think you do have some interstitial purging that way. That's why I created the astringent, high astringent GI broom to help that mucosic draw and pull to try to get this mucus out of that interstitial space, because you can't absorb with it. And get that plaque off the wall. And a lot of you see that black stools coming out of you. That's vital to get that out of you if you want proper absorption. So, elimination. What about the huge metabolism and the activity of muscles and the activity of all these, from the Krebs cycles to methylation cycles to all the cycles that are involved in keeping the cells functioning? There are metabolitic wastes, we'll call them. Waste from activity, lactic acid from moving of the muscles, boratics, the phosphorics, the carbonic acids. All these acids are not converted. You, like the carbon dioxides and things, you also have some of this that has to come out. Some of these gases have to come out of the skin. And you'll see that if you will watch. The skin emitting gases out of the human body. Vital to eliminate. And what you don't eliminate, you accumulate. And you can't bitch when you start to see swelling or tumors, because that's an accumulation of lymph. That is an elimination problem, right? Right. Well, how did we lose our elimination? Because we started eating acid ash foods. The humans did way, way back. And little at a time, we've been breaking down our colon and our kidneys from these high-protein diets. And now we have serious kidney and GI tract problems from this. but it has shut down the kidney's ability to filter and eliminate metabolitic waste. Whether medical doctors get it or not, who cares? You must understand your kidneys are vital organs of elimination of metabolitic waste along with the skin. Blood is not an eliminator of waste to the outside world. The kidneys and skin is. The blood does not eliminate. It's not an elimination system. It is the kitchen of the body. It's tied to the digestive system and the system of absorption. The elimination system is tied to the lymphatic system, a whole different system of the body. That's why there's so much confusion in health today, because everybody's been bumping on medical theories which are bullcrap, bull hockey, and they can't be proved. You can't prove medical theory. Look at it. Millions are dying every day from this. The theory is ridiculous. There's no basis, no sound basis for any of this. And applied theories, oh, bad, 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 bad.
For the last time, no.
Now, unfortunately, we're having to go back and start fixing the elimination organs so we can fix the digestive and absorption and utilization tissues. If we don't get the elimination fixed and get these acids and all this hardened sputum out of the body, then the cells are going to go down always. And we can't live in fear of the word cancer, because it's just a degenerative state through these 4 stages that we've allowed our body to go through. Unfortunately, now some of the children are born in these chronic and degenerative stages at the cellular level. This is disheartening extremely for the Homo sapien, but it's because the Homo sapien has kept itself ignorant. You've got to start digesting your foods. You've got to start absorbing your foods. You've got to start utilizing your foods. So you're always going after elimination issues. You're always going after the skin and the kidneys, always. You don't fix elimination, you're done. You're just throwing stuff in there hoping you'll digest better. Then you end up taking digestive enzymes because that doesn't work. You end up ruining everything because you're not focused on the proper way to get well. This is why when you look at our detox program, we're after everything I just told you about. Because unless you fix proper elimination, you get metabolitic waste moving and you start hydrating interstitially, you're just going to keep getting blowback to the cell. That is called inflammation before it's intracellular. In other words, as acids build up around cells and interstitially from lymph stagnation, metabolitic waste, the cell is able to continue to discharge to a certain point. Then, of course, we call this inflammation. Inflammation is a natural immune response by your body. They deal with interleukins and things like this, but in reality, the calcium buffering system is part of the inflammatory response. The cholesterol buffering system is part of the inflammatory response. Matter of fact, the cholesterol response is your immune response. And if your adrenals are low and your steroids are low, your body's going to use cholesterol directly since it's a cholesterol system. Your lymphatic system is the cholesterol system. Your HDL is the phospholipid in the cell wall, and LDL is basically part of the not only the adrenal steroids it's used as antacids, but also part of the lymph fluid itself. Essential. All this crap, this mounds and mounds of intellectual jargon and bull crap from the AMA, and now they can't even answer any of these questions, so now they're into the genes. Are you missing this gene and that gene? This is all in the mutation of cells, which can properly rebuild themselves and get all this back. Don't fall into that kind of crap. There's nowhere else for them to go, and after they get rid of the gene theory, they're done because there's nowhere else. They have to bring it up into some mysterious mystique thing so you don't understand, and they have the knowledge. Well, we don't know. It's your genetics. It is always your genetics. Every cell in your body, remember this, every cell in your body is a genetic cell. You, in these 4 phases or processes that the body has to go through to be well, you have to focus on elimination first. Get your kidneys to filter, get your skin to sweating, get your basal temperatures up to the upper 97s, 98. Get your skin opened up there. But it's enough to say that learn these 4 phases, because you have to fix elimination. You might have digestive problems and you can go after them simultaneously. You might have absorption problems. You're going after the lymph system no matter what. So you're going after that. But you have to fix this elimination to get everything moving, to get hydration going, or you're going to lose your electrolytes. That's when you see your urine going alkaline when you shift to a raw food diet. you're too agglomerated to take immediate hydration. It takes a while interstitially around the body to get true hydration and all the fluids moving properly. Lucky the blood has to have this bicarbonate mix and to keep itself base and a calcium drawing, a buffering system as well, or there would be no humans on the planet. We're looking using herbs for digestion to get the improvement of the pancreas and the liver gallbladder up. We use the liver gallbladder herbs for that one. The liver gallbladder herbs help the pancreas. So we're after those. Obviously, we're after proper digestion. We want absorption. So what system do you go after absorption? You're going after the lymphatic system. We're also drawing on that bowel wall and cleaning that mucoid plaque on the bowel wall. That's why the stomach and bowel formulas. We want to remove the inflammation, the impactions in the bowel wall. We want to get interstitial absorption going on here. But until you remove the impactions and interstitial constipation, that's what they don't get. But how do you explain IBS, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis? How do you explain that in the medical community? Autoimmune? Ridiculous. Anything autoimmune is lymphatic. And lymphatic stagnation interstitially in the intestinal wall is acid stagnation interstitially in the bowel wall. This sets up what? Inflammation, swelling. So what you have is a thickened bowel wall, you have poor absorption, and now you can have the blowback, which is ulceration. The acid's just chewing up the cells. You don't see that unless you have stagnation. You know, acids are not going to chew up a cell if you have proper hydration and your fluids are moving properly. The lymph is filtering all your metabolitic waste. The lymph nodes are pulling and releasing and cleaning. No problem. Stagnation causes acidosis, and that's a stagnation of metabolitic waste interstitially. And of course, I'm working my arm, I'm creating lactic acid. What if I can't remove that lactic acid that I'm creating? I get stiff and painful. So I've got to remove that which I'm creating in terms of acids. That's essential. And all that man suffers from is the lack of moving that out. It shuts down the pancreas, it's shutting down the gallbladder, it's creating all these individual problems that medical doctors, they don't get all that, so they put it in the form of diseases. Everybody's got all these different types of diseases. When everything is linked to the same thing. And it is cause and effect. What you eat is cause and effect. And understand the Homo sapien vertebrae. We are islanders. We are frugivores. We might not be able to get there back there yet, but we are high frugivores. And we can handle some vegetables, thank God. So you've got to look at those and understand that when we change our diet to those types of foods, everything starts hydrating. You start to see that cationic environment becoming an anionic environment. It just takes a little time for this to happen. Then you start to see more chemistry in your urine. You start to sweat out more things. If you're acid, your skin could look a little red or a little worse, but these are acids coming out of you. At least you're not keeping them in you and burning your cells up. See how that is? That's how simple all this is right around these core principles. Fixing these core principles here, you'll stop these phases of disease or stagnation or forms of acidosis, because you can simply say these 4 stages are different stages of acidosis. The final being the final stage, the deterioration, the atrophy stage. Call it cancer, call it whatever you want, but in reality it's just a degenerative stage of tissues. And yeah, you're going to lose cells. They can be rebuilt. But to rebuild tissue, you have to remove that which is stagnant, correct? Common sense. You can treat that with pharmaceuticals, and all you're going to do is probably off yourself or hurt yourself even more to control something you need to fix. It's that simple. So your diet and your herbs are designed to fix those issues that we've discussed here and to stop this movement of these stages and reverse them backwards through the acute manifestation of the stage and then back to Wellville.